All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Readers. So we are taking another look at the AI sector, looking at AI itself and then PLTR. Look, if you used to watch my videos early on, I would religiously cover EV stocks. I've said it a couple times and I'm saying it again. I sincerely believe that AI is going to be the new like NASDAQ favorite. I think this is going to be the hot tech, no longer the cars and the chargers and stuff like that. And honestly, my focus is shifting here a little bit more. I'll still make car videos or EV and all that sort of stuff, but again, I sincerely believe that this is the new focus. Obviously, four candles in a row here is never ideal, right? But again, you could have definitely saved yourself from falling all the way down, right? And we'll talk about the details shortly, but again, real quick, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how things are setting up. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself, and then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe, it does really good things with the YouTube algorithms, but even if you don't, just thank you so much for watching these, okay? I do appreciate your time a bunch, all right? And then I am not here pretending to be perfect or all-knowing. I do not have a crystal ball or any silly stuff like that, so if you disagree with my opinions, please let me know, all right? You very well might be right, and I would love to hear it from you, then watch me lose a lot in the market. You know what I mean? So a little bit of a two-way street here is what I try to do. So let's get into it. And I'm zoomed in a lot. I am zoomed in more than I usually do. Okay, I like to zoom out and in, but yeah, I'm actually a little surprised this is how it all played out since last week. So what happened here? Monster gap up because of earnings. People loved it a lot. Did I listen to the earnings? No, right? And I generally say, hey, look, if it's good enough, the technicals will tell me. And in all honesty, the technicals kind of told me it should have done better. Maybe the fact that the MACD and the RSI weren't actually saying the same thing, right? The RSI was already green over red and looking up, but the MACD just wasn't there. So maybe this was it. Obviously, I always say I use a different set of indicators. I use something I call the one. We're looking at chart readers, right? So there's always more you can look at, but yeah, I'll be real sincere. Good volume, good RSI, not quite a good MACD, but an improving one on a gap up. Man, why didn't it happen? Because it's what I always talk about. Confirmation. All right. This right here, this gap up is the break of 2 moving averages. If you're going to break 2, I need good confirmation. Coming down a little bit ain't good confirmation, right? Sometimes you'll hear me say, hey, hold 50% and I'll be happy with that. But again, that's not good enough on a gap up 2-line break. Come on now, right? So really all this kind of makes sense because there was no confirmation. And look, once we start to lose what was a resistance, now a support, this is where we should have bounced. That's why we make these lines, right? Let me kind of zoom out. It was from this bad boy, right? We said once we crack it, it should do well. It did, right? Once we hit it again, that you should, what? It didn't. It kept going, and then today was kind of a scary day. We lose 2 lines on a single day, right? That goes to show you why I talk about confirmation. I want to genuinely believe we've broken these lines. Otherwise, the stock will tell me, right? Like this is literally saying, nah, this wasn't real. And as easy as you ate it up, I'm going to eat it back, right? So it really just goes back to why I talk about a lot of the things that I talk about, right? So I didn't make this stuff up. I'll tell you that much, okay? What are we looking at? A little bit of a scary thing here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, look, generally, you've got some good earnings behind you. It shouldn't do this, but the markets also aren't doing that well. I didn't listen to Powell speak, but like, I don't think the markets really liked what he said, right? And I know I heard something about rates at least still going up, right? So there's what I'm looking at technically is a decent fall down to the 50 if it happens, right? It would be a pretty ugly drop down here to let's just round up to 1850, right? 18, 9, whatever. That would suck, right? And losing 20 is basically going to be the next thing. I always say the 200 is what we need to stay over. As long as we're over the 200, it is still technically bullish. Obviously, as things go down, I'm going to be bearish. Like, I'm not saying it's always good over this, right? But yeah, as long as we're over this line, there's a belief that we'll hit the line and then fly back up. It's a super powerful line. It's not the easiest thing to break, but when you do, things go well. When you come back to it, hopefully you'll bounce it, because look at all that confirmation, right? Like, this is now our line, hopefully. So but yeah, I could see this coming down to 1850, 1860, give or take, if we lose 20. Not liking that MACD at all, right? It never really pops in and is now kind of going back down. We actually do see the RSI with the red over green too. Definitely flat, so I'm not too worried, but we had a downtrend. We started to kind of go up. Now it kind of looks like we might be coming back. So I'm not liking it too much, even though it's flat. And clearly, volume has been a lot of the story here. When no one's buying, no one's caring, it quickly gets bad. So AI, again, I'm surprised this is how it went after earnings, but it kind of was avoidable. And look, I know we talked about this. Getting over that 100 would have been huge, right? There is no 200 moving average on the weekly. This thing has only started trading here, right? This day was the 100th, or this was the 100th week, right? So we've still got a bunch more, maybe another 50, just kind of eyeballing it before we get the other one. So yeah, if we had good confirmation, it would have broken this. And honestly, this red might have been a pretty big green. That would have taken us to this plateau, if not maybe even started testing it. So definitely a disappointment. Look, we're on this right here. Maybe this 22, we'll save it before we get to 20. And again, if we lose 20, that 18 number comes here. But yeah, hopefully that 22, which is probably actually right exactly where we're sitting, that's what caught today. So tomorrow's confirmation will obviously determine what happens. Again, confirmation tomorrow will be big. Did we actually lose the 2 and are going down? Or hey, maybe we'll just kind of like sit here in this 23 world. So maybe that's what earnings does. It kind of lets it just live in the gap versus a fall too much. But Palantir. All right, I'll be real honest. I lost some money on this, okay? I did not listen to my own rules and I got stop lost out today. Super sad. Look, I talk about confirmation often, all right? You're going to break 2 moving averages. You better do some good things the next day. Unfortunately, I didn't want to really wait till the next day, and I was like, all right, let's just get in right here, okay? So now I'm in right here. Still haven't broken it, but look, we have a doji. We're over the 200. I'm still in. We get another day. We still have a doji, still over the 200. I'm still in. This was not a good day. We now have lost the 200, but we stayed at the 8. I decided to tell myself to put a stop loss. I think it was at 8. It might have been a little over, a little under. Nonetheless, I at least got out before the top of this candle. So this is at, what did this close at? 797. Yeah, I think my stop loss was maybe at like 798. Or probably 801, give or take. But yeah, unfortunately, I got it wrong here. This is why I stress confirmation. This is why I generally say if it'll break instead of when it'll break. And unfortunately, man, I'm human. I went against my own rules. I got greedy. I wanted to make a couple extra dollars instead of waiting. I saw this red, and I got greedy. You know, and I'm saying all that with a smile, right? So wait for confirmation. Sometimes it's hard for me to do. Literally, it was hard for me to do. Hey, knock on wood, I didn't lose silly money, but yeah, it froze up money that I could have had elsewhere. And again, I hate, if you watch my videos, I hate horizontal trading because you can't really sell, right? Like it's bad, but not bad enough to get out. It happens again. And look, and then this one, I probably should have known. And again, I was like, all right, let's wait for the, ironically, I waited for this confirmation instead of selling a couple dollars earlier, a couple cents earlier, right? But I didn't wait for this one. Silliness, whatever. Where am I on Palantir? Look. This has to hold. If you hit under 760, again, if we're looking to the box right there, the 50's at 62 and the 100's at 60. If it goes below these two, we're dropping. We're probably dropping at 677. Maybe we'll say this plateau right here, maybe 7 will save it. But yeah, damn, just sadness. And look, I'm gonna draw this real quick, and that's probably where I'll end it. But cool. So from here, oh yeah, look at that. Oh man, we're actually just under the trend line too, right? Because I would have gone to here, and then I just kind of quickly adjusted it to here. You saw that. I didn't have to do that twice. Cannot lose 760 if you're still in this. All right. Like I said, I got out. I was wrong. I ate my coal. It happens to the best of us. Okay. If again, there's obviously a lot of good things that can happen. If it gets over this right here, I'm gonna go ahead and set my alert for a couple cents over. I like that, 38 cents. Why not? I like that a lot. If it gets over this, break this and fly, lose these and die. That's where I'll end it with my good rhyme. No, I got to look at the weekly here. Sorry about that. Where are we on the weekly? Look, again, I know I talked about this too. We were on a test of a 50 that hasn't been broken on a long time. And again, there is no 200 again. So it kind of would have lined up with the AI's thing where break this, good fly here, break this and go. Unfortunately, again, we're at 760 one more time, 756 here to be exact. If you lose 755, that will be bad for sure. All right. Be safe with these ones. But again, I generally believe AI needs to be a focus. It's going to be for me. I'll tell you that much. Hey, I sincerely appreciate your time so much. Have a great one.